risky rotations. He said he'll probably sub out 4 players at a time tonight, guys.
I was used to seeing all those guys coming over the boards. Not going to quite see as many tonight, but we are underway as the Tigers win the opening tip. They committed 23-9. North Carolina 24-7. And the Tigers to get their first crack at it.
It's really a different change in the starting lineup. Ace Buckner also a starter as Vessar comes up with a huge block on the first possession.
Godfrey gets it back and he'll knock it home. R.J. Godfrey, their top scorer. And Clemson on the board first tonight. North Carolina, their starting 5. Trimble, Dixon, Bogovac, Stevenson, and Vessar. You mentioned Bogovac with a terrific game against these guys last time. 20 points. The hook shot up and good by Vessar.
And you see the absence of Welling on the first possession going inside to Henry Vessar, who's able to score over the top of the much smaller R.J. Godfrey.
Clemson starting lineup. Dylan Hunter running the point. And Ace Buckner. Dad was a heck of a player for Clemson. Godfrey up to a nice start here tonight.
What we're seeing, OB, is strength versus length. Right now, Godfrey giving away about 4 inches to Vessar. However, strong enough to be able to finish over top of the 7-footer.
Getting it downstairs. The block is good, and Clemson will come away with it, but they're going to throw it away. An opportunity to get in transition, but they wind up with the turnover. The officials tonight: Bert Smith, Bill Covington Jr., and Tony Henderson. Head coach Brad Brownell, 16th year at the helm for Clemson, 315 wins, the most in program history.
And tied with the University of North Carolina for most ACC wins over the last 2 seasons.
Vessar has it batted away to midcourt. Back for Trimble. Shot clock to 7 for North Carolina. Trimble getting inside the paint, and the kick out for the Stevenson shot. Got a good clean look. The follow won't go, but a foul as Trimble got shoved.
But looking forward to this battle between these 2 seniors, Dylan Hunter, Seth Trimble, both rarities in today's game, staying in one program for 4 years, similar to what this gentleman did. Hubert Davis, 4-year letterman at the University of North Carolina, who won a ACC Tournament Championship in 1989 alongside his assistant coach, Jeff Lebo.
North Carolina 1 victory from their 42nd 25-win season. Hunter bleeding. So the 6'3" senior getting attended to over on their bench. 18:23 to go as we toss it to Molly McGrath.
Yeah, guys, this game getting physical early, and UNC's Henry Vessar admitted to us his team motivated by revenge tonight, saying we feel like we have something to prove after losing to Duke in the regular season finale. They outplayed us. It's left a chip on our shoulder, and our goal is to advance so we can play Duke again and beat them this time, guys.
Well, and when you come to North Carolina, that's one of the things you always want to make sure that you walk away with a win against Duke. And you think about Henry Vessar and Seth Trimble, who made the biggest shot of the college basketball season, that 3 to win against the Blue Devils at the Dean Dome. However, taking that loss without Caleb Wilson, that's really the motivation. Carolina wants to show that they are still a very good team that has to be contended with, even without their superstar freshman in the lineup.
Coming in, the number 19 ranked team in the country. Clemson up by 1 early. Here's Godfrey at the top of the key. Ace Buckner. He'll fire and knock it down.
Buckner's going to have to be aggressive. We have a stoppage in play, and they're going to get Bill Covington Jr. is going to gesture to Brad Brownell. They're going to have to get Dylan Hunter out of the game. They've got to find a way to stop the bleeding, which they were unable to do with the 30-second time allotment they had earlier.
Tigers need a good cut man.
Justin Porter stepping in. He normally a starter, but Ace Buckner getting the start in his spot. But Porter in the game in the first 2 minutes.
Vessar down low, draws the double. He'll swing it for Dixon. He'll drive it and hit it.
Derek Dixon has truly grown up in that point guard spot. Started the year off coming out the bench, Kyan Evans as the point guard. Dixon taking over really about in the 4 games into ACC play and has maintained the starting point guard, running the show very well for Hubert Davis.
Coming off a really nice game against Duke, had a career high 17, hit 5 threes in that one. On the bounce, Godfrey. That's stuck a bit on the rim. Besar for Bogovac. Going to be a marked man tonight. Got it up there. The tip is up and good by Besar.
Besar attacking the offensive glass. This North Carolina team, uncharacteristically not good. That's going to be a backcourt violation. No one touching that basketball. This is a self-inflicted error by Buckner, mishandling the rock on that possession. But trapping on the bounce allows Derek Dixon, and you run him off the free throw line, but able to get to a spot, pull up before getting too deep into the painted area for the Bucks.
You mentioned the outstanding Caleb Wilson. They're 5-2 without him.
And one of those losses, they also did not have Besar at North Carolina State. So 5-1 with this group.
Dribble keeps on moving, but that's going to be a turnover on the travel, their first. No question, a gigantic loss without the gifted freshman. Just unlucky with the hand.
And dunking in a non-contact drill, trying to get prepared to play against Duke in the regular season finale, and breaking that right thumb, having season-ending surgery. But his career will move along, as he will hear his name called very early in this summer's NBA draft.
Indeed. He's become a top-rated cheerleader for them on the bench. Got terrific personality. The officials to monitor here. It's a clock issue, we're being told. So Bert Smith over looking to find out the correct time. Let's look in the lower left. And should have started. Obviously did not. Before they caught that. So they're going to have to reset here in the opening minutes in Charlotte. But what a terrific game we just watched between Florida State and Duke. Duke hanging on for a 1-point thrilling victory. FSU had an opportunity to win the game at the buzzer. Robert McRae took a 3-point shot instead of driving the ball. You thought he should have driven it.
I thought he should have driven it, and I had an opportunity to talk with Marcus Page, of course, assistant coach for the University of North Carolina, who's been in that spot multiple times, as have I. And we both agreed he should have driven the basketball, but he made such a nice move, and when he dropped his defender, he knew it was an opportunity for him to pull up a 3. You don't fault McRae. I just would have loved to have seen him attack the rim. He's had so much success in the 2 games here in the ACC tournament, getting into the painted area.
So many different ways to play that. You call it timeout, set something up. Yeah, you're only down a point at that point.
Yeah, I love the decision by Luke Louch to allow his guys to play, though, and not calling the timeout, because Duke, of course, with a set defense, is amazing. So he gave him a great opportunity.
So they reset the clock to 16:35.
Bert Smith, a great official, coming over to tell us that the clock froze. I tell Bert before each game, make sure you tell your family, I'm destroying you on air today. Nothing good will be said about you. Even though he's a great official, I got to warn him beforehand.
He always nods and says, yep, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Officials have been terrific in this league really all season long. Johnson will pull up and pop. And a misfire there. Trimble wants to push it every opportunity. Nearly lost it out of play. Trimble averaging 14 points a game. He'll have to be huge for Carolina tonight. Dixon for Besar. Besar off to a hot start. Once again, they double him up and they knock it free. Stolen away. Porter with it. Up ahead for Buckner. So turning that into points in an 8-7 lead. Ace Buckner with the bucket. Here's Dixon. Yes, a three-pointer on target.
You talked about his ability to shoot the basketball. Derek Dixon at about 6'4" is a big guard, so can shoot over smaller defenders, but extremely confident. Didn't know that this would be his role coming to the University of North Carolina, but has stepped in and played extremely well.
Buckner off the window. No. Godfrey was a little bit gimpy after the last play. Trimble going in strong. Well, he can't do anything but come right at you.
Absolutely. The deceleration step. You go from 0 to 100 real quick. Well, this is in reverse. Seth Trimble goes to the left leg and just pauses, allowing the defender to fly by and gets a bucket.
Way downtown and way short by Wallin. Not even close to the 10. North Carolina leading at 12-8. Dixon for Bogovac. Been quiet so far. Sharpshooter from Montenegro. A handoff for Trimble. Trying to split the defenders. Now he'll turn and pass it off. Shot clock's at 1. The fadeaway, yes, by Bessar. Might be his night.
Great touch by Bessar. The turnaround and recognizing just how much time he looked at the shot clock on the other end of the floor, knew he had time to get to his turnaround.
Godfrey getting around Bessar. Now they collapse on him. The kick out way downtown and absolutely drilled by Porter.
Brad Brownell told us that the recipe for success for his team, his guards have to make shots, especially with Welling off the floor, their second leading scorer. They're going to have to get production from the backcourt.
Bessar will lose that on the baseline, not free. Tigers with it, and the foul will go against Stevenson. And we have a timeout on the floor.
Great action early to start our last quarterfinal game. Bessar checks the shot clock on the other end and then goes to the fadeaway. Always be home. The ACC Hall of Fame still located right outside the Greensboro Coliseum, as we see Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC, making Charlotte home now for the greatest basketball conference in the history of the game. I will go down fighting that with anyone. You want to talk about people who have come from your conference? I will take you on with my legends from the ACC anytime.
With a very long list at hand at your disposal there. You'll get no argument from me whatsoever. Jake Wallin at the line. 6'10" junior, and again Carter Welling tore his ACL last night for the Tigers. And that is a sizable loss in more ways than one, as he was injured in the first half. So the Tigers have to do it without one of their starters tonight. North Carolina, same thing. This Carter forced to watch. You saw him come back to the bench last night on crutches. It was a very sad sight. Also, after they first took a look at the knee.
And we talked with Dylan Hunter after the game. He made sure that he let it be known we're doing this for C-Dub. We're doing it for our fallen brother, our teammate, who was unable to join him.
Stevenson launches and buries a triple. His first bucket.
His scoring has picked up significantly in the absence of Caleb Wilson. Jaron Stevenson becoming much more aggressive on the offensive end of the floor.
10 points, 9 rebounds against Duke last week. Really crashing the glass in that one. Porter steps back. He can't answer. Stevenson with a rebound. North Carolina 50-14 all time in the ACC quarterfinals. Got a lot of numbers like that. The Tar Heels do. Here's Trimble. Stevenson open again. Rebound hauled in by Dylan Hunter. His brother Chase was a standout player for the Tigers. He'll fire it up. Nothing but net.
And that's what Brad Brennan's looking for Dylan Hunter. He doesn't need him taking 20 shots a game, but he has to be more aggressive on the offensive end, putting pressure on the defense. Can't be a guy that they just don't guard on that end of the floor.
Zayden High at 6'10" into the game for Hubert Davis. Trimble with 9 to shoot. And they're going to tie him up and foul him before the shot with 12:15 to You know, the Heels have only played 15 of their 31 games with all 3 of their top scorers, Wilson, Trimble, and Vessar. Now, they are 11-4 in those games, but they've had their own injury problems.
They've absolutely had tremendous injury problems this year, but when you consider the fact that they had an elite non-conference schedule, this is the first time that the Tar Heels have beaten Kentucky, Duke, and Kansas in the same year since 1981-82 season, which happens to be a historic year, the first national championship won for the great Dean Smith.
Foul here on Zayden High, his first. First, they beat Duke and Virginia in conference play, the #1 and #2. Virginia safely into the semifinals after a good win over NC State. NC State will be heading to the NCAA tournament. Davidson into the ball game now for Brad Brownell, and a foul at 11:50 to go. No basket. North Carolina leading at 17-14. And suddenly both sides having a little difficulty scoring it. Under 12 to play here in the first half. For the semifinal, we're certainly going to see him here at the ACC tournament. 11:50 to go here in the first half, and Justin Porter at the line where he is 78%. 4 points tonight. Clemson defeating Wake Forest last night 71-62 to advance to this quarterfinal as the #5 seed against the 4th seed North Carolina, and they've made it a 1-point game. Zayden High zips the pass downstairs. Stevenson will draw the foul as we bring in Molly McGrath.
Well, OB, Clemson's Brad Brownell told his team their defense is embarrassing. He was very upset and passionate in the last timeout and said, we're better than this. This is a lack of focus. And he told his team they're in a rhythm. We have to slow them down with ball pressure. And then he pointed up and said, look at the score. We are in this game if we just defend better. OB?
The standards are awfully, awfully high.
They really are. You're talking about an elite defensive-minded coach. Brad Brownell has told us his offense oftentimes puts his defense in compromising situations. When they show up and make some shots, their defense is even better, but they put so much pressure on it when they can't make shots. He is a guy that leans on the defensive end first and allows the offense to take care of itself.
Clemson, once again, tough defensively, holding opponents to 66. Stevenson at the line, give him 5 points.
Obi, you talk about the win for Clemson yesterday over Wake Forest. I saw Brad after the game, and I said offense in the first half, defense in the second half. He says that's the formula for us. If we can make some shots early, we can win games.
Took his team to the Elite Eight 2 years ago. They were knocked out in the first round of last year's NCAA tournament. Godfrey after the fake. Double fake, lays it in. That's a pretty move for R.J. Godfrey.
Nice going to the left hand to allow the shot blocker, or not allow the shot blocker a chance to block it. But he also displaced Vessar, who even though he's taller, probably weighs about 20 pounds less than R.J. Godfrey.
Godfrey, their top scorer at 12 a game. So it's an average offensive team, but they spread it around very well. Trimble on a nifty spin. Kicks the pass. Vessar had to save it. Shot clock a factor, down to 3. Trimble. That didn't touch anything. And there is a whistle and a foul along the baseline. That was with 0.8 on the shot clock. And North Carolina leading in 19-18. That'll go against Godfrey of Clemson.
On an air ball that would have been Clemson's possession. Godfrey complaining to officials that it was Vessar who contacted him on that.
So shot clock resets to 20. And inbounded for Vessar. Bogobats. Vessar back outside. Powell hangs in the air, went for the bank shot and drew the foul. He is headed to the line, which is a bit of a battle for him, only 50%.
Davison does a really good job contesting the shot, but you see Godfrey and Bessar getting mixed up. And Godfrey was complaining that it was Bessar holding his right elbow on that possession. That move by Henry Bessar to get the call.
If R.J. Godfrey holds you for any length of time, you're going to feel held. And he is strong. And Powell continues to have issues at the line as he misfires on number 1. And misses the pair. So Carolina leading by 1. Tigers trying to retake a lead. Godfrey on Bessar. Good battle tonight. Porter. Godfrey again. Draws a lot of company and misfires. The Tigers had a chance to grab the lead here at the 10-minute mark. Ogavot's back for Bessar. Evans slings it. The jumper won't fall out of the corner for Powell. Either side making shots at the moment. So pretty quiet building here at the Spectrum Center in uptown Charlotte. Porter driving and draws the foul. Justin Porter, the 6'1" grad out of Houston, is one of the 8 Tigers who score 6 or more points a game.
Justin Porter in the non-conference was the leading scorer for the Clemson Tigers. In ACC action, he's their 4th leading scorer. That goes to what Brad Bardell talked to us about earlier this week, where he says the production offensively from his guards hasn't been what they've needed, especially when they went through that 4-game slide after returning from the West Coast. Porter, who's been a starter the majority of the year, coming off the bench here tonight, still unable to get it going on the offensive end of the floor.
Jaden Young, 6'4" junior, in now for Hubert Davis. Another foul shot coming for Porter, who's 78%. Missed the first, got the second. 6 points for him.
Hubert Davis going to go deep into his rotation throughout this game, expecting to play 3 games in 3 days. They're going to need all their bodies to be effective.
And of course, without their best player, one of the best players in the country, and Caleb Wilson. Bogavats, nice pass inside and 2 for High.
And they rely on Bogavats to be another ball handler and playmaker. The 23-year-old, first year, although with only 2 years of eligibility, a newcomer to college basketball.
6'6" from Montenegro, bordered by Serbia and Bosnia. There's Godfrey to launch. Boy, got a good look. It was in and out. Lid on that basket right now for the Tigers. Evans won't wait. 1 and done. So neither side setting the world on fire offensively over the last 5 or 6 minutes. Here's Buckner. He'll try one and gets it from 3-point land. And the Tigers jump in front.
Big bucket from Ace Buckner. He can provide offense for the Tigers. Has had big games for them offensively throughout the season. Another one of the dynamite freshmen, although redshirt freshmen, that the ACC's had on display this season.
Ryan Evans for Young. Bogavats will fire. He hit 6 threes the last time he faced Clemson. A great game for him. 20 points. And a career high. Godfrey with a quick step. Blocked by Bessar and deflected off the Tigers. So North Carolina will take over.
Bessar doing the job defensively. Able to absorb the contact and still block the shot off of Godfrey to be able to get the basketball back for the Tar Heels, trailing by
the tournament. Clemson with a 22-21 lead over North Carolina. Very animated Hubert Davis in his huddle.
Well, Hubert Davis not happy with the fact that his team, although they have an advantage on the interior, Henry Bessar 3 of 3 from the field right now, but not getting the opportunities. He also doesn't like the way they're getting the job done defensively, making only 1 of their last 7 field goals on the offensive end.
Stevenson bouncing for Bessar.
And you see where the ball goes after the timeout.
Can't make the shot, but foul there and headed to the line. Where he only makes 61%.
It's an advantage, OB. You got your second team All-ACC performer who's perfect from the field in this game. And you're playing without Caleb Wilson, which means you have to force feed Bessar even more, especially if Clemson's not going to double team. They're mixing up their coverage. Got to give him opportunities around the rim.
Davidson with the foul. Let's go to Molly.
Yeah, Henry Vessar told us that Caleb Wilson's absence this postseason has lit a fire under him and requires more aggression from him on both ends of the floor. You saw he had a block. He's had a couple rebounds. He said he'll be more aggressive driving to the basket. And he said especially he wants to hit the glass more with the goal of at least 3 offensive boards a game to give their team a chance.
I know it's a big miss for North Carolina. That cannot be overestimated as Davidson goes up top and knocks down a 3. But for the basketball fan, nationally, it's a giant loss that he's not playing in this tournament and won't play in the NCAA tournament.
It really is when you consider the talent that he is, but more importantly, the personality that he is.
Wally going in strong and converts.
And now Clemson starting to score off of their defense. The turnover, turning it into 2 on the other end. Davidson knocking down the 3 on the previous possession.
Tigers with their biggest lead of the night, 5 points, under 7 left in the first half. Vessar touching it virtually every time down. And a nice dish, but they can't get it to go.
Obi, I think Vessar waited too long on that possession to see if the double team is coming. Clemson's not going to double team him on the catch. If they do go, they'll go on the bounce. He's got to make quicker moves and be more decisive going to the rim.
So the Tigers with momentum in their favor. Johnson stepping into one, but it's not there. Vessar with the rebound. His third. Carolina very chilly, 1 for 8. Stevenson, an awkward play as he goes tumbling on a foul. 6'10" junior. He'll be shooting 1-and-1 here in a moment. Give you a look at the Phillips 66 Big 12 men's basketball tournament. And loaded with top 25 teams going toe-to-toe. Terrific field for the Big 12. And the semifinals include Arizona, #1 seed against Iowa State. Houston, #2, just knocked off BYU 73-66, awaiting the winner of Kansas and TCU.
TCU up huge at Bog Allen earlier in the year. A tremendous comeback. Darren Peterson coming off the bench at the end of regulation and making 3 free throws to send it to overtime, where Kansas is able to go on and win that game. TCU looking for some revenge at tournament time.
Stevenson with a miss. Tigers trying to add on. Butter Johnson. Pull up pop from 16 for 2. The UAB transfer lengthens the lead to 29-22. Bogovac, he's been silenced by the Clemson D.
But you see 1 in front, 1 behind. When you're talking about guarding Vessar, they're going to force someone else to beat them. Stevenson unable to do so on that possession.
So in this quarterfinal, the Tigers trying to really get a grip. Johnson will drive the lane, leaning in. No, Vessar collects it. Trimble, full speed ahead. No. And Vessar over the back commits the foul. His first. (29-22) the Tigers.
Clemson defensively, 1 in front, 1 behind on Vessar, making him not an option. Terrence Stevenson trying to attack, just unable to get on balance to go up with a strong finish, unable to get it to go, but a great job defensively locking in, as Brad Brownell's team has heeded his message from the timeout that Molly was telling us about earlier.
Well, the winner of this one to take on the Duke Blue Devils, the top seed in the second semifinal tomorrow night at 9:30 on this floor. Tigers trying to play their way in. Dylan Hunter pulls up and fires. Yes.
But Obi, you see why Brad Brownell wants Dylan to be more aggressive. He snakes the screen, gets to a spot, the mid-range, raises up, knocks it down. Just the 9-0 run for the Tigers.
Stevenson in close. And Carolina needed that bucket. 31-24. Godfrey with a kick out. Wallin short. Godfrey collects the offensive rebound. They'll get another shot at it. Buckner. Godfrey's open, but too strong. North Carolina needs a hot hand. So Trimble back to Bessar. Bogavats. It's not been his night. Bessar tangled up and traveling with it. And they turn it over for the 5th time. Clemson getting the better of it in this quarterfinal so far. 31-24 on the heels. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round.
Right now, they're a different team than they were at the beginning of the season. Florida State ends their year very, very well. But when you've got the best player in the country, you're always going to have a chance. And that's exactly what Duke has on their roster.
Boozer drew a lot of fouls, a lot of attention, ran the point often in that victory. Let's not forget, though, FSU had a chance to win it at the buzzer. And the three-pointer was no good, and Duke held on for a 1-point win. So they are into the semifinals against the winner of this one. If they face North Carolina, they'll be for the 3rd time this year. Hunter, an airborne pass and a whistle there with 3:21 to go in the half. And Bogavats will pick up his first foul, and he'll head back to the bench. Clemson at 23-9. Suffered a 4-game losing streak that took them out of the running to challenge Duke for the top rung in the ACC during the regular season. But they have bounced back nicely. They are the 5 seed. Shot clock to 8. Godfrey over the top. And Davidson just lost it.
That's the size and the shot blocking ability of Bessar that affected that shot. Just standing there at 7 foot, in his wingspan, deterred Davidson from going straight up. Brad Brownell tells him just catch it and go straight up. If he blocks it, so be it. But be aggressive attacking the rim.
Yeah, saying a reminder, you're 6'10".
Yes.
Under 3 minutes left in the half. Bessar against Davidson. Trying to take advantage. 2:48 to go. And waiting for the winner of this game, the Duke Blue Devils, avoiding the upset in the quarterfinals. Isaiah Evans with a terrific game. 32 points to lead all scorers. Trimble to set it up. Bessar leaning in, and it rattles home for him.
Nice play by Trimble, and finding Bessar in that short roll, who has soft touch right around the basket, able to get it to go. First time he's been able to scratch on offense in quite some time.
Carolina only 26 points. A little more than 2 minutes to go before the break. Porter in and out. Bessar with the rebound.
I hate that shot. You got a really good shooter. Just pull up and shoot a mid-range jump shot.
Bessar with the kick. Back out for Stevenson. Straight on to nail the triple. 10 points for him.
His confidence has grown significantly since he scored 17 second-half points in a comeback at Virginia on January 28th. And since then, he has been a force to be dealt with on the offensive end to go along with his defense for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels.
Well, Jaron Stevenson launching a triple. And that leads to a timeout for Clemson. North Carolina has scored the last 7 points.
And they're getting the production now from the front court. Stevenson, Bessar starting to assert themselves as Hubert Davis has to get animated in his timeout to let his guys know we want to be able to attack the Tigers from the interior. They're playing without their tallest player in Carter Welling, and Tar Heels have to be able to beat them up on the interior.
Davidson's open. Got it. He returns the favor with a triple. Nick Davidson.
Yeah, his second 3 of the game. He's a matchup problem with his ability to stretch the floor at 6'10".
So Clemson by 5 under 90 seconds before halftime. Trimble trying to use that window. Bessar with the tip in.
Molly's report earlier, she talked about Bessar wanted to be a force on the glass. His second putback in this first half.
Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Here's Porter. It's about 10 a game for Brad Brownell. His 3 is all money. Well, he takes far and away more threes than anybody else on the team. He only makes about 33%, but he can get it rolling.
Can get it going. He was their most valuable player in their midseason tournament earlier. Came in from the non-conference as the leading scorer.
And that is deflected out of play off Clemson. The Tigers are going to argue that, but it's going to be North Carolina ball.
Brad Brownell going to take a look at his back bench to see should they challenge that. Getting a quick no, although R.J. Godfrey was adamant that it wasn't off of him.
So 36.8 on the clock, 16 to get off a shot for the Heels. North Carolina less than 10 turnovers a game. Very good, very stingy with the ball typically. And 5 so far in this one. Trimble, a little bit of a slip and tipped out by the Tigers. 25.8 remaining. And look at the shot clock down to 5.
Trimble attacking. No conclusive evidence on that one. Brad Brownell looking to his iPads once again. They tell him no.
Fired up there, and they had more time to do something. The shot way offline by Dixon. 37-31. Hunter being hounded by Dixon. 5.1 to go on the foul, his first. And it is 1-1. It was Seth Trimble there with a foul.
You don't want to foul 40 feet away from the basket in that possession and allow Dylan Hunter to put points on the board close to the end of the half. Clemson wanting to get the last shot. Trimble just a little too aggressive with his defense.
Under 77% at the line, makes number 1.
Stepped up and made huge free throws down the stretch for Clemson last night. He and Butter Johnson took care of business after Brad Brownell had to take R.J. Godfrey out of the game, missing the front end of 3 1-and-1 opportunities.
So the Tigers will go into the locker room with the lead. He extends that to 8. Wallin at 6'10". More size on the floor for Brad Brownell. And Bessar to put it in. Fires to midcourt. Trimble tumbling to the scorer's table.
Joe Covington also going into the scorer's table, OB. So he was unable to make that call. But the basketball would be a turnover, and the ball will go right back to the Tigers. Just an errant pass. See, Seth Trimble got to get the toes down. Got to get the feet down inbounds on that one, even though he still would have ended up on the scorer's table similar to the official.
So Tigers will have it here, and plenty of time to do something. 4.4 seconds. Inbounded for Johnson on the drive. Off the window. No, that's how the first ends. Clemson leading it 39-30.
Go but they're going to need much more production from him in the second half if they want to move on to the semis.
And Molly, you have a word from Hubert Davis.
Yeah, Hubert Davis was frustrated and honest at the half and told me we were way too soft in the first half. We weren't playing with fight and physicality, and he challenged his team to show more fight in the second half of this game. And he said when Henry Vesar is doubled, he needs to catch the ball closer to the basket, play with more physicality.
The Clemson bench established itself again in the first half. They outscored Carolina 15-2. Big reason for the Tigers' success this season. North Carolina opening up the second half of the basketball. Bogovac went scoreless in the first 20, and he will fire that one out of play. He was such a factor when they beat Clemson at the Dean Smith Center. That's going to be 7 turnovers for them, and Tigers with only 3 turnovers.
But that's the thing. If you have success against Brad Brownell in round 1, you best believe he's going to have a different look for you in the second matchup. And they've had that for Bogovac this evening.
It's our last game of the day here in Charlotte. Buckner will turn and launch, and that clangs away. So one of these teams to join Duke, Virginia, and Miami in the semifinal. Duke awaiting the winner. Bogovac, no. It has not been his evening, at least not yet. He is 0 for 4. Godfrey handing off for Dylan Hunter. Godfrey slamming into the big guy Vesar, and he'll turn and dunk that one down. He has 8.
We said it early, OB, is strength versus length. We know RJ Godfrey's the stronger of the 2 players, and that time once again displacing Vesar, and the dunk to make it the largest lead of the game for the Clemson Tigers.
Up by 10. Trimble has to retrieve it at the logo.
OB, you can hear Brad Brownell yelling out the defensive coverage, screaming ice. Trimble, that's the second time Trimble has done that in this game. He's been able to snake that middle screen and roll and get to the rim. Only 2 field goals for Trimble, and they both come in the exact same fashion.
Yeah, they're really going to need him to show up. 6'3" senior who missed 9 games with a broken arm. Leaning in, Godfrey off the 10. North Carolina looking to go on an extended run here in the opening minutes of the second half. Trimble outside the 3. Shot clock down to 9. Dixon lets fly. No. Clemson not a high octane offensive team. Not a great shooting team. 46%, 34% from 3. Their defense, their calling card, and Hunter knocks one down.
And Hunter now with his 3rd field goal of the game. 3 of 3 perfect from the field. When he decides to be aggressive, he can be effective.
Bogovac held up. He'll draw the foul on Butta Johnson.
When we talk about displacement, you create space with your body. There's no push off as RJ Godfrey is able to attack, but the shoulder is legal. That is a legal play. You're able to leave with your shoulder. Vesar attempts to get the offensive foul, which is extremely difficult to do in today's college basketball game. But when he goes to the floor, it gives RJ Godfrey an easy one at the rim.
Godfrey not a huge scorer, but he does a lot of things well. Tough rebounder too. He had 8 of them yesterday in their victory to get here to the quarterfinals, and they'll force another turnover.
Another unforced error. Vesar just unable to handle the basketball on that possession, giving it back to the Tigers, trying to build on their largest lead.
Wallin back outside for Johnson, a 6'4" senior. The transfer from Alabama Birmingham. Davidson. Trimble just stayed home and knocked it away. Young will drive it. He's stripped on the play, and out it rolls. And had an opportunity for a fast break basket, but denied.
And Brad Brownell, I believe, is going to challenge this one.
Yes, he wants to.
Yes, trying to get the attention of the officials right now. And that was a quick call. Dylan Hunter looked over to him as soon as the basketball went out of bounds, telling him, we need to challenge this. Wallin does get a hand on the basketball, but does it touch Young last as he's attacking the rim?
Chose to call timeout, the challenge to call on the floor.
I believe that's going to be a successful challenge. It looks as though it touches Jaden Young's hand last. Goes with the win on that possession.
So a smart call there, and they get another one. Tigers with a chance to add to their lead, up by 10. Carolina fans very quiet here in Charlotte. Place that has been really good for North Carolina. 170-29 all time in Charlotte. 15-1 in the ACC tournament. 17-2 against Clemson all time in the ACC tournament. Get it downstairs for Davidson. Banging on Bessar. Knocks it home right in front of the horn.
Davidson is the third leading scorer for the Tigers on the season. He comes off the bench, but Brad Brownell loves his offense, but he stepped it up defensively, allowing him to play more minutes in the absence of Welling.
Trimble leans inside and knocks down two. A shot they really needed, giving him 7 points.
I believe if you're North Carolina, you need to have a much more steady diet of Seth Trimble handling the basketball, making plays at the rim. When he's been in attack mode, he's been successful.
They need his energy really bad.
They really do. He's been giving on the defensive end of the floor, but offensively where he's going to have to step up.
They're bouncing for Davidson. Can't hit the outside shot. He wants to get in the lane. That'll roll off the iron.
And another great stand defensively by Seth Trimble, taking on the challenge there of a guy much taller.
Bessar with a nice feed. Stevenson with a stuff. Carolina moved it very well. Give him 12. On the feed from Henry Bessar, the 7-footer. That brings the Tar Heel fans back to life. Porter, no room to shoot it. 7 to get off a shot now for Clemson. Johnson gets some room and sticks it from three-point land.
Huge bucket from Butter Johnson. Not fazed by the Carolina faithful on their feet. Knocks down a big three off the step back.
That's 6'4". Over the taller Stevenson is 6'10". He'll feed Bessar to the baseline, going for the dunk and draws the foul. Henry Bessar to the line, the 7-footer to shoot. We have 14:09 remaining. North Carolina trying to make a comeback. Hubert Davis exhorting his team. He has been animated. This
has risen to their feet, making a bunch of noise here in the Spectrum Center. Huge bucket from Butter Johnson to stretch the lead back out to 11 for the Tigers.
Butter, as in smooth as. His first name is actually Ephraim, but his uncle gave him that nickname when he was born. Not bad for a basketball player.
Not bad at all. Great nickname to have, even before they knew he was going to be a hooper. Butter O'Brien. I think I like it. Butter OB.
You know what? Let's table that just for a moment, maybe. For like the rest of my life, maybe. Bessar at the line, where it's just 61%. He'll knock down the first. North Carolina trying to fashion a comeback against Clemson. And hoping to beat rival Duke for a third time, but the Tigers also want to crack at the #1 team in America and the #1 seed in the tournament. Gutty win tonight for Duke on this floor. Caleb Wilson unable to go, of course, lost for the season with that broken thumb. He was trying to make his way back from a broken hand. Clemson, by the way, no players in double figures, but 6 guys with 5 points or more. That's the way they do it.
Yeah, they had all 10 players that played score last night. Wallin was the only one that did not get to 5 points. But that's been the secret sauce for Brad Brownell all season long. Has been their depth. And their depth has shown up in this game. His guys seem to be fresher, even though they were the team that played last night. Bessar having to play a lot of minutes with the absence of Caleb Wilson.
Jaden Young with a foul for North Carolina. Johnson with the bounce. Chase Thompson draws a foul. There's been a lot of that tonight. Possessions down on the low block, resulting in fouls and trips to the line. Now the leading scorers Porter with 9, Davidson and Godfrey and Hunter with 8, and Buckner 7. They just don't have that one guy who's necessarily going to take over a game and get you 25 or 30. And missing Carter Welling, who gets him about 10 points a game, the 6'11 junior. Nice to see him smiling after the torn ACL last night. Thompson only 65% at the line, makes the first.
10-point lead. He's smiling right now, whether he's on the floor or not. He understands the importance of the Tigers playing against the Tar Heels, especially in the ACC tournament, and the opportunity to go on to play against the Duke Blue Devils, the #1 team in the country, who you and I were there for a big game, big matchup on February 14th. And there was a lot of anticipation with Clemson with only 2 ACC losses coming into Cameron Indoor. And the Blue Devils took them to the woodshed on that one.
We sure did. That was at Cameron, as you mentioned. They'll stay right here on this end, but Clemson leads by 11. So the Heels to check it in. And a well-run play as Trimble will lay it in. Off the feed. 9 points for him.
Amazing the way the game has changed, OB. We grew up where the guy guarding the inbounder, your first responsibility was to take away the middle. Now it seems that there's so many different schemes where you see more just easy layups off of underneath out-of-bounds plays than we've seen in the past.
Buckner, a little offense by accident after the deflection, and another whistle as we approach 13 minutes to go in Charlotte. #2 seed Virginia beat NC State today 81-74 to advance to the semifinals tomorrow. A very physical game in game 2. It was Miami holding off Louisville, and then Duke beat FSU 80-79 if you missed that. So 3/4 of our semifinal is set. Pull up pop for Johnson. Yes, a triple.
And with Seth Trimble going down after attacking the basket, it gave the Tigers number. Playing 5-on-4 on offense, opened up Butter Johnson for the 3.
Young, perhaps an ill-advised shot as he tried to answer. So the Tigers are starting to take hold of this one. Now leading at 55-41. Buckner, Godfrey wants it in the paint. Goes in strong and foul 2. Looking for a 3-point play. Clemson Tigers feeling it here in this quarterfinal.
Well, Clemson feels as though they have an advantage on the interior, whether it's Vessar or Zayden High trying to defend R.J. Godfrey. Godfrey once again, strength first length. The pump fake, the contact, and the finish, and an opportunity for a 3-point play. And right now a 7-0 run for the Tigers, extending their lead to 16, the largest of the game.
We talked to R.J. Godfrey last night as he looks for a 3-point play after the game. Really confident, not cocky, but very confident that Clemson was playing great basketball right now. They like their chances here in this tournament, an 8-0 run.
And he talked about the togetherness of their team, how they're so close-knit, and that's what's going to carry them to success. And hopefully, in their eyes, to their first ever ACC Tournament Championship.
North Carolina's in deep trouble. Bogovats can't find a seam. Stevenson getting it downstairs. Oh, Vessar had an easy one there. That's a tougher shot. He makes that and draws the foul. So the much easier one, well, he blew that. But he'll draw the foul and go to the line. And fouled by Davidson, his second.
Getting the basketball inside to Vessar. This is what the Tar Heels are going to have to lean on. Unable to get the first to go, but getting his own offensive rebound, able to put it back, an opportunity for a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
Vessar makes a high percentage of shots, 61% of his shots, but he's only 61% at the foul line. He's 20th in the country in shooting accuracy, but not great at the line.
That's rare for a guy that shoots as many threes as he does. He's also a 40% three-point shooter.
Justin Porter, the grad out of Houston. Very fond of the three himself. We'll try one there. Shot clock down to 4. And knocked home by Davidson. With the shot clock winding down. Boy, the Tigers are making big shots.
And Davidson now joins Godfrey in double figures. They both have 11 points as he's come off the bench and been very aggressive offensively in the absence of Rowe.
Clemson by 18. SR feeding into the corner and knocked home by Jonathan Powell.
And that's what Brad Brownell is going to talk to his team about, staying disciplined. He's right now in the ear of Ace Buckner for gambling on that possession that allowed Powell to get the opening.
Buckner needs some help. He'll bounce for Thompson. And a whistle in the lane. Bogobot's getting tied up in the paint. He'll commit the foul. Number 2. So the Tigers with under 11 to go. With the lead here, 61-46. They are feeling awfully good about their 4 out.
But SMU, one of those teams right there on the last teams that are in the tournament. And with so much going on regarding Miami of Ohio, who lost in their first game of the conference tournament quarterfinal matchup to the 8th seed, that is something that if there's a bid stealer out there that can end up pushing SMU out of the tournament.
A footer on the drive. Got the shot up just as the shot clock was ready to expire and draws the foul. So bleeding it all the way down, and now Porter heads to the line where he makes 78%. Transfer from Middle Tennessee State. Had some big games, 26 against Notre Dame at 21 against Pitt.
Clemson has had 5 different players get a bucket in the second half. Their last 5 shots have been made by 5 different players. They're 8 of 11 from the field in this second half, where they've really picked it up on the offensive end of the floor. And they have 6 guys in this game that have 8 or more points. That's talk about depth. This Clemson team personifies it.
Be even deeper with Carter Welling in there, but he's out with a torn knee ligament. Porter will drive it, look to bank, no. SR went up for the rebound. Carolina in need of a hot shooter, but thrown away by Vessar. Picked off by Buckner.
That's his 6th turnover of the game, OB. Hubert Davis wanting the basketball in the hands of Vessar, but to whom much is given, much is expected. Got to be better with the rock. 6 turnovers is a lot from your center.
Porter, a whirling dervish, but he's also traveling with it. We are under 10 to go in this quarterfinal. And Clemson has North Carolina in serious trouble.
Well, part of the reason for that is Clemson's defense is so stingy. With this lead, it makes it difficult for for Hubert Davis' team to get back in this game, simply because Clemson is going to defend the 3-point line and force Carolina to beat them with 2.
Stevenson can't connect. Big rebound by Powell. Bogobots, who's been very chilly, buries that one, nothing but net.
The offensive rebound, the best time to shoot the 3-ball. Bogobots get his first one to go from beyond the arc.
That's right, his first points tonight. So 62-49 Clemson. And a whistle here with 9:13 to go. As we go to Molly McGrath.
Well, in the last timeout, Clemson's Brad Brownell told his team UNC still thinks that they have hope in this game. You have to take away their hope with aggressive team defense. Don't let them get any momentum here. And you can feel there's a calm confidence among this Tigers team right now, guys.
It is. One thing Molly, Brad Brownell knows, he understands North Carolina, especially in this building, in this state, what they're capable of. And he wants to make sure his team knows that you have to take every possession and make the best of it, because you give the Tar Heels any crack, they're going to get back into this game. Brad Brownell going back to the fundamentals, OB. Fake high, go low. Fake low, go high. That's what they taught us back in the day when trying to make a post entry or inbound pass.
That's exactly how he did it 25 years ago. Exactly like that.
25?
Well, I'm being kind.
Brad would be happy to hear you say that.
Yeah, he does believe I'm an optimist. He told me that the other day. 62-49, 9:07 to go. They're going to look at the clock. I think the shot clock kept on running.
Tell you what Brad Brownell and Hubert Davis have in common. They were both at one point teammates with Calbert Cheney. Brad and Calbert Cheney teammates in high school. Hubert and Calbert Cheney teammates with the Washington Wizards back in the day.
Reset the shot clock to 19, so they put 6 more seconds on it. And now Godfrey going up against Stevenson and right by him, but could not make the shot. Will that open a door here for the Tar Heels? Bessar will launch one. No. Buckner with the rebound.
But that was a good look by a great three-point shooter, especially a 7-footer. Got the opportunity that he wanted on that one, just unable to get it to go.
Back for Godfrey. Going in strong for the stump. 13 points for RJ. One more than his average. Dixon wants the shot. No. 15-point lead for the Tigers. North Carolina having a lot of trouble cutting in. Ace Buckner with a shot. And Stevenson chases down the miss. 8:06 to go. North Carolina with the ball. Trimble back on now for North Carolina. Can he bring some magic? Caleb Wilson can do nothing but cheerlead. As we mentioned, you know, without the star freshman, they have gone 5-2.
And some really good wins. Beat Louisville at home. Seth Trimble showing up huge in that game. Was ACC Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. And Trimble with only 9 points in this one is 3 of 4 from the field in the second half, but unable to get many touches.
Bessar, the one-hander, around and out. .736 to go here in Charlotte. Justin Porter. Hunter wants the triple. Got tangled up. Yeah, with Bogovac. They both went down.
But Brad Brownell not concerned about a foul. He's telling Dylan Hunter to get up and get back.
Bessar gets a good look and buries the 3.
There you go. We talked about the 7-footer who was an excellent three-point shooter. Able to knock down the trail 3 to make it a 12-point game. 20 seconds still involved in the stat sheet.
See, I'm on Jim's side. Those box scores, man. You give a head coach a box score, it's going to be mesmerizing.
Especially that head coach. He'll take forever. Right. He wants to pick apart every part of the game, see why who's doing what well, and the reason the others are not.
A phenomenal career. Clemson, by the way, took the lead midway in the first half, led by 8 at halftime. Their biggest lead has been 18. Now on top, 64-52. Johnson with a little floater, and that'll drop in. He hits double figures with 10.
Now you have 3 Tigers. Oh, forgive me, 4 Tigers in double figures in this game.
Bogovac for Bessar and 2.
12-point game. The Tar Heels can still continue to go inside. They don't necessarily have to make threes, but this is going to be the concern right here. Can they get stops, enough stops to be able to cut down into this 12-point lead?
So with 20 and 13, he has had a high number of turnovers, but he's had a very solid game otherwise. Porter back outside for Butta Johnson. Shot clock to 3. He'll fire it. Airmailed it. Return no good by Justin Porter. And here come the Tar Heels. Seth Trimble. Bogovac. Bessar. And he'll be dragged down. He lost his balance, but he was dragged down by Wallin, his third foul. 5:41 to go.
Wallin trying to fight with Bessar. Pulled the chair a bit there. Watching the games early. My God, Jay Wood says remove the seat.
Remove the seat. I saw that.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to see Jay when we got over here. What are you talking about? It's called pull the chair.
Right.
So the second time he says remove the chair. And when I see him, he says, CA, I forgot the term for it. So I made one up. It is pull the chair. It is not remove the seat.
I'm watching it at the hotel as you were doing it. I'm like, Jay, well, you made that up. You just flat made that up. There is no such phrase.
But you know what? What I love about my brother is he owns it. He made it very clear. I made that up because I couldn't remember the actual term for it.
I thought it was a Duke thing, maybe. Maybe that came out of Coach K's practice. But no, he just made it up. Bogovac with a kick out. Trimble's open. He can't stick it, though. And a whistle. Bert Smith blowing the whistle with 5:28 left. And North Carolina remains in trouble. Foul will go on Nick Davidson, number 3. Bogovac just hit a 3 moments ago. Drive inside, left it short.
Another easy opportunity, unable to take advantage of it right at the rim. Bogovac unable to finish.
Davidson won't wait. He drains a big 3. 14 points for Nick Davidson. Goes into the starting lineup with Carter Welling out with a knee.
4 of 4 from beyond the 3-point arc. How big has Davidson been? And although Brad Brownell doesn't have much choice other than to trust him on the defensive end of the floor, he's provided a tremendous spark offensively. And as you mentioned, he doesn't wait. There's no hesitation in letting that 3 go to push the lead back to 15 for the Tigers.
A 25-point game against Boston College, so he's had a few. Look at the bench scoring. 26-5 for Clemson. Bogovac to the line, 73%. His dad was a 13-year pro in Europe. He now coaches in Montenegro. Not a lot of happy smiles over there.
Those 4 guys have been in the game tonight, but really haven't given much production. You mentioned the advantage for the Tigers. 26-5 in bench points, and both teams have played 9 guys. So it's not as though Clemson has played more guys than has North Carolina. And this is one of the ways that Carolina is used to be able to get back in the games. Now this diamond press.
Porter still deep in the backcourt to Johnson. Gets it across for Davidson. And the swing for Buckner. So they break it. 69-56 the Tigers. Buckner taking on a 7-footer, and it rolls off the iron.
Got a great look, unable to get it to go. An opportunity for the Tar Heels with numbers.
Trimble in traffic, got it, and headed to the lines.
That's the guy, OB. If North Carolina is going to get back into this game and make it interesting down the stretch, it's going to have to be the senior. It's got to be Seth Trimble. 4 years in this uniform, 4 years in the ACC tournament, does not have a championship like all the great Tar Heels do. And 4:27 remaining to keep that dream alive.
Looking for a 3-point play, but can't. Seth, honorable mention, all ACC. Nobody in college basketball hit a bigger shot all season than that last-second dagger to beat Duke on February 7. Little fall away. A nice touch there by Ace Buckner. He's had a solid game at 11 points.
He really has, and now becomes the 5th Tiger in double figures.
Bessar lets fly, but no. Thompson grabs the rebound. Under 4 minutes in our final quarterfinal. Porter pulls up and shoots. Yes, no net.
Oh, then we got a little mix-up once again. Davidson and Bogobots going down, but Dylan Hunter continuing to have success when he gets to that mid-range.
Slamming on the brakes. Nicely done by Dixon. And that'll lead to a timeout. 3:23 to go. And it remains a 13-point lead, though, for the Clemson Tigers. They can smell it. A trip to the semis on the line. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college.
But Scott spent his college time at Maryland in the ACC. He knows all about the rivalries that went down back in the day.
And how about R.J. Gottfried started the game for Clemson last night. He comes over to do the interview after the game. He says, am I going to be on with Scott Van Pelt? And we said, maybe not.
No, not we, you. Because
yes,
I didn't want to disappoint the young man.
And I did. He looked like his heart was broken, that it was going to be us or me and not Scott. That's the way it works. 73-60. Clemson to inbound with 3:23 to go. In the backcourt, Butta Johnson.
And once you get it across, this is what I'm wondering what Brad Brownell has told his team. He's telling them to get it back out. But when teams pressure you and you get an advantage 2-on-1, oftentimes I think it's best to go ahead and take the quick shot and attack to make sure that they know that they're not going to be able to pressure you moving forward.
Arthur nearly turned it over. It could have been a double dribble. Johnson in traffic and denied. Stevenson all over him. North Carolina needs stops and big shots here. Time beginning to run thin in this ACC tournament for the Heels. Vessar short, follows his own miss and takes a hit before the dunk. 2:39 left. And can they recover? The foul on Davidson, his fourth. Davidson, who's had a very impactful game here for Brad Brownell. And Vessar to the line, not his favorite spot, 61%, but 16 rebounds, a career high. And hits number one.
Prior to the game, he talked to Molly about how he wanted to be more aggressive on the glass, has done that in this game. 6 UNC player with 20 and 15 in the ACC tournament game. I believe Antoine Jamison got 20 and 15 in every ACC tournament game. It seemed to be that was the case for him.
It was routine. 11-point lead. Thompson with a catch. Thompson trying to get it across, and it's taken away by North Carolina. The tip by Dixon. So big turnover. He'll pull up and pop. Yeah! Three-pointer. Tar Heels close it on a 7-0 run and a timeout by the Tigers.
The pressure is working for the Tar Heels. This is what Hubert Davis holds until times like this, and it's led to a 7-0. Obi, I understand Brad Brownell wants to use as much clock as possible, but playing passive has not helped the Tigers here down the stretch. Now they've got numbers. Look, it's a 2-on-1 opportunity that you don't take advantage of. You allow the Tar Heels to get back and set their defense and put so much pressure on your offense.
Yeah, they got a lot of balance. They don't have that guy on offense. Dylan Hunter took a look at the clock. Under 2 minutes now. Shot clock at 6. Hunter on the drive. Shot clock down to 2. Johnson way downtown. That never got there. A shot clock violation back to North Carolina.
Now what you did on that possession, you did burn 30 seconds off the clock, which is in your favor. However, you had a much better opportunity with still 22 seconds remaining on that shot clock to try to play 2-on-1 against Vessar to see if you can get a much better offensive look than what you got on that possession.
Seth Trimble knocked away by Buckner across the baseline. North Carolina ball with 1:42. And Brad Brownell exhorting his troops as they try and pick off North Carolina in this quarterfinal. Stevenson firing. Rebound and a whistle, and that will go against North Carolina. Seth Trimble holding the sides of his head. The foul will go on Vessar, and that'll bring up a 1-and-1 for Clemson.
The hands in the back. Vessar pushing Davidson. Bill Covington right there with a great angle to see that call. But this was a concern for the Tigers last night. R.J. Godfrey missed the front end of 3 straight 1-and-1s. Brad Brownell had to take him out of the game. Can Clemson take care of business at the free throw strike to push this back to a 10-point game?
68% for Davidson. Looked good on the first one. He's had a big night with 15. He averages 9. 6'10" senior from California. And front rim that one. 74-65 Clemson. Dribble with Hunter on him. Dixon catches, fires, banks it in! A three-pointer. 74-68. More pressure now from the heels. Buckner zips it across. Thompson downstairs. Davidson. He'll draw the foul by Vessar. That was more what you were talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You attack, and now you put Vessar in a situation to where either he has to foul, give up the 2, or make a spectacular play to stop you at the rim. The kick ahead, you get Davidson to the free throw line, but you pick up the foul on Vessar as well, which will be his 3rd of the game.
Big Henry going for the block. Foul instead. Davidson back there to the line. That's what he did last time. He made the first, missed the second. Let's see what he does here. 75-68. A 16-point game for Davidson. Makes the pair. 8-point lead. 1:08 to go. Vessar from 3-point land hits it. And a timeout. North Carolina as they cut it to 5.
You've got to give Hubert Davis a tremendous amount of credit. The Tar Heels, although they did not play this game extremely well, they are finishing strong. The diamond and 1 press has resulted in turnovers. It's returned in passive play by the Tigers, and now allowing the Tar Heels to cut what was once an 18-point lead down to 5.
Well, the big guy Vessar can really shoot it out there. 42% from 3-point distance. Second team all ACC. North Carolina trying to recover from what was an 18-point deficit tonight and come all the way back against the Tigers. They're hoping for a rematch with the Duke Blue Devils, but of course Clemson wants to get there for the semifinals. Down the stretch we come with 1:04 to go.
They really do, and this Clemson team who went to the semifinals last year lost at the heartbreaker to Louisville, wanting to get back to that spot. Dylan Hunter, who broke his hand in game 1 of the ACC tournament last year, trying to get the first ACC tournament championship for the Clemson Tigers. They've never won one. The last time they were in a championship game, they lost to the Tar Heels in 2008.
Never won one. Well, they have the possession arrow. And Clemson with 2 timeouts left. North Carolina does not have any more left. And neither side with fouls to give. 5-point lead here for the Tigers. And even their youngest fans on the edges of their seats. Tigers the 5 seed, Carolina the 4 seed. So far into the semifinals, it's been all chalk. Clemson's trying to change that.
So if you're Clemson now, you've got to make a decision. You still want to attack, but if you don't have a good look, now you can dribble it back out, run some time off the clock. But the priority is to break the pressure, make sure you get across without turning the basketball over.
Buckner up ahead for Hunter, and they break it. 53 seconds to go. 5-point lead for the Tigers and the ball. Dylan Hunter will run it down. 7 to shoot. Down to 3 as he drives it. Spins and fires, and off the iron it rolls. A battle for it. Vessar with it. Trimble will back it out. Bodies flying. 2 Tar Heels hit the deck. Trimble airborne makes it. And 2 men are down. Stevenson and Dixon both down and writhing in some pain.
And they ran into each other trying to get down the floor, but Seth Trimble going against the entire front line of the Clemson Tigers and able to finish. As you see the 2 Tar Heels, Stevenson and Dixon, tripping each other up in the middle of the paint, but still not enough to deter Seth Trimble from getting downhill and finishing with that left hand, making a 1-possession game.
Those 2 clearing out a lot of space and allowing him to go all the way through for 2. So a 3-point game with 23.8 on the clock. And to bring out the mop.
Davidson also limping off the floor for Clemson. So Jake Wallin will come into the game.
Meanwhile, Carolina with a 15-3 run in the last 3 minutes. Not that long ago, Clemson had a 15-point lead. And they're going to foul. Bogovac commits the personal, stopping the clock at 20.2. As we will march to the other end to shoot foul shots. Tigers kind of an average foul shooting team, 73%.
It was Dylan Hunter that calmed everything down for the Tigers last night after Godfrey missed 3 straight free throws. Hunter stepped up and knocked down 2. Can he be the closer here tonight as well? But still 20.2 seconds, more than enough time for the Tar Heels to extend this game, especially if they can score at the clip they have on their last few possessions.
Godfrey back on now for the Tigers. A 1-and-1 with Dylan Hunter, 77% at the line. Got number 1. $11 points for him. Tigers 8 out of 10 in the second half at the line. And the senior with number 2 hit that as well. 5-point lead with 20 seconds to go. Trimble will kick it out for Vessar. Got it! A 3-pointer on the money. With 12 seconds to play, it's a 2-point game.
Ravenel calling the timeout. North Carolina going to once again see if they can get a trap, get a turnover, and if not, foul to force the Tigers to make free throws and try to make it a 2-possession game. But excellent execution by North Carolina down the stretch. They've had everything go right. Give Hubert Davis a tremendous amount of credit for bringing the diamond and 1 pressure out at the right time. I believe Clemson got passive, and by being passive, they allowed the Tar Heels to get right back into this game.
Vessar now with 28.
Vessar continues to show why he'll be a first-round pick in this year's NBA draft, knocking down the 3-ball. Multiple threes for him down the stretch, as he has a career high in rebounding and I believe a career high in points.
That's correct.
As well.
28 points, 17 rebounds, both career highs. The junior from Estonia.
Not a bad ACC tournament debut.
Will it be enough, though? North Carolina from 18 down, now trailing by just 2, with 12.7 on the clock. And Clemson to have the ball coming out of the timeout. Tar Heel fans, some in prayer mode, and
Some
Roy Williams,
cool as a cucumber.
cool as a cucumber.
They have
down this road before.
been here before. Nothing new for old Roy.
So Clemson to put it in out of the hands of Butta Johnson. Stevenson on him. Carolina trying to force the turnover. Johnson running the baseline, does get it in for Davidson. And the foul by Trimble stops the clock at 11.1.
And a great job by Trimble really being able to catch up, because Dylan Hunter was almost out of reach when he caught that basketball on the run. Smart play by Trimble, reaching out to commit the foul and saving some time on the clock.
Pretty sure he could run down an Olympic sprinter. So Hunter to the line. 77%. 4 for 4 tonight there. North Carolina out of timeouts. And he drops in a big one to make it a 3-point game.
Now here's the one here. This makes it a 2-possession game. And what does Brad Brownell instruct his team with a miss or a make on this free throw?
Just put both hands out in front of himself on the sideline. Hunter's second foul shot. And made it.
So, of course, you don't want to foul on this possession with a 4-point lead.
7 seconds to play. Trimble gives it up. Here's Dixon's shot. Yeah! He nails the 3. 2.8 left.
No timeout for North Carolina.
1-point game. Johnson trying to get it in. He does. And an immediate foul by Dixon with 2.4 seconds to play. And a frenetic finish here in Charlotte. So Davidson will head to the other end to shoot. Clemson clinging to a 1-point lead as the Heels make another giant 3.
Tremendous execution by the Tar Heels, getting the screen for Derek Dixon, coming off, knocking down another 3. All the 3-point shooting that we've seen from the Tar Heels late game. Hubert Davis has to be wondering where that was throughout the entirety of this one.
Davidson around and out on the first one. North Carolina's going to have a chance. They have changed the clock to 2.7 remaining.
That missed free throw changes everything. Brad Brownell going to take the timeout. And the reason it changes everything now, you don't have to go for a 3. And so there's a number of schools of thought. Do you make this free throw and give yourself a 2-point lead, or do you miss it intentionally and not allow for the Tar Heels to be able to do anything with it? However, if you do miss intentionally, a basket beats you. Anything. But now a long heave also beats you, being that you missed that first free throw. A 3-pointer sends you home from the ACC tournament.
Neither side has a timeout remaining. 2.7 to go. Clemson does own the possession arrow if it comes up to that. So a thrilling finish when it looked like the Tar Heels might have been dead and gone about 7 or 8 minutes ago. But North Carolina in the last 3.5 minutes has outscored Clemson 21-7. And it feels like March.
It is absolutely feeling like March in the building. Tremendous execution by the Tar Heels to get to within 1 with 2.7 remaining.
So Nick Davidson to shoot a second foul shot. With Clemson up by a point. And intentionally missed that. Stevenson coming out 1 second. He fires it up there, and that's the game. That's how it ends, with a whimper, and Clemson wins it by a point, 80-79.
And Brad Brownell risking it, but I think it's the right decision. If you make that free throw, you give the Tar Heels an opportunity to set up something, which Hubert Davis did in that timeout huddle.